Okay, so for this lesson, we're going to learn how to read a new device on your Arduino. That's called a photoresistor. This is located in, let me show you. This little device right in here is called a photoresistor, and it's what we're going to use to read a light level. I actually have this set up right now, where if I move my hand over and make it darker, the LED on line 13 will light up. I also hooked in, I came off of pin 13, I hooked in a little LED down here, and right now it's just reading the light level in the room, and if it gets darker, it'll turn on. So you cover it up, it'll turn on the light automatically. It's kind of like an automatic night light type thing. And it gets a base reading of your light level when you first turn it on. And it's just turning an LED on and off. Pretty simple little project. Not a whole lot of wires. You can see I have 2 wires running for the photoresistor, the CDS cell there. And that's really all you need for this whole project. I ran 2 more wires for this extra LED on the side, just so I can see it more, but you see it's also corresponding to that built-in LED on pin 13 of your Arduino. And that's what the code will currently include. Let me talk about this for a second. If I go back to the site here, I'm going to pull up the project. If you look up like Arduino photoresistor or Arduino CDS cell, by the way, this little device, the photoresistor, is also referred to as a CDS cell or a light variable resistor. There's a lot of different names for this thing. The CDS cell is the actual, probably the most common name in the
thing it says CDS cell and it says light resistor.
Yeah, those are kind of typical names for it. It's a variable resistor. It's similar to that potentiometer where you turn the knob, but instead of turning the knob, it changes the resistance based upon the level of light in the room. So setup here is really, really simple. If you look this up online, they're going to put in an extra resistor and use that pull-up resistor like we had on the buttons. And what I did is, instead of doing that, you know, if you plug it into your breadboard, it's 1 wire. It's really an easy build. What I did in here with the code is I set up your pin mode, your input, as a pull-up. So by doing that, this is probably the most unused feature of the Arduino board, is they have a built-in pull-up resistor, and all of the little tutorials and things that I find online always add in the extra resistor, and they run it to the positive to pull it up high, and it's just an extra part that you don't need to do and you don't need to build. So by changing this 1 line of code, we can eliminate a component from our circuit, make it a little bit easier to wire, and if you were making these in mass quantities, you wouldn't have to bother trying to find it. So, and I even put a note in here. One thing I want you guys to start doing when you first of all, when you save and download this code, copy and paste it, you may want to put a name in there like turning the LED on and off with a photoresistor or something so you know what it is. As you modify it, type in the title what you did to modify it as, what changed. Also, go through and put comments in your code. I put a comment in here, external pull-up resistor, maybe added in online tutorials. And it follows from above. We are using an internal pull-up resistor to eliminate that, and that's what I did in this line. So the comments are kind of matching up to the lines. Notice the comments in here tell you what they are doing. The comments are followed by 2 lines. So make sure when you save it, when you modify it, why did you change something or what is it doing if it doesn't make total sense. It's also nice sometimes to put wiring instructions in here. Really, I didn't on here because you're just hooking your photoresistor to A0 and to ground. And that's what your schematic shows real clearly. Your photoresistor is this little cute squiggly thing. One side goes to A0 and the other side goes to the ground pin on the Arduino. You want to put that in comments. It's nice when you pull up code and you go, now how did I build that again? What was the build? It's really nice if you have instructions on that. And that will also lead to some of the challenges because I'll be having you add in like the LCD display, things of that nature. So look through the code. There's a lot of comments in this one. And it's a pretty simple process of comparing a value. You're going to have a light value, and if it gets a number higher, it's going to turn the LED high. Else, it's going to turn it off and turn it low, and it's just going to run that over and over and over, turning the light on or off. And with that said, once you build that, the build will take you all of 30 seconds, if that. Technically, you'll need 2 wires on the DuinoKit. You only need 1 wire if you're using the breadboard. But we'll have 3 missions, and I did put a little quiz in here. It says, in this sketch, we included code for displaying the current light level reading in the serial monitor. However, the code has been commented out. Remember, when something's commented out, it has those slashes in front of it. Is the typical way of commenting out a specific line. So what lines do you need to add to uncomment the lines so that you can be viewing the light level in the serial monitor? And you notice those are already put in there on this code. Your second mission or challenge will be adding in the LCD display and display the light level on the LCD. Now you're going to have to go back a couple projects and figure out how to wire that, how to code that in, and build that into your project. So that's going to be a little bit more challenging. And then on this last one, I included a whole different section of code. So what I would do here, I call this a change in light level alarm. What I would do when you access this code, copy and paste it, or if you download it and put it in, Control C will copy it. When you paste it in your Arduino, give it a name that makes sense of what it is. So you just created a new program, you copied it in there, so it says sketch February 19th, that doesn't mean anything to anybody. Go save as, and give it a name that makes sense. I entitled this one a change in light level alarm. So I would do something of that nature so you know what it was, and then as you edit it or change things, you'll be able to play with that. This is some code that I wrote a long time ago and I kind of like it. I thought it was probably one of the most unique functions you can do with very few parts, but also it worked for a great motion alarm or a device for detecting motion or light switching. But if the light changes real slowly, like sunrise to sunset, it won't set off any alarms. It's just if there's a sudden change that comes into play. So your tutorial here, see if I can go back one. The code is here. Basically, I want you to take that code, sudden change in the alarm, see if you can look through the project, see what's happening. You're also going to be wiring in a buzzer. So look through the code, how is that buzzer pin hooked up? Remember, if I give you a pin number, that goes to the buzzer, the positive side, and then the negative side will go to ground. So that's the only thing additionally you have to do to hook up the buzzer. You can also hook up lights and all sorts of things to it. So that will get you through the third mission. You're going to have to play with it a little bit and work through the code and the schematics that you have for the wiring. And then there's a short quiz on there. I might add one more question, but right now I think we're at 3 questions on this quiz. So with that, I'll let you experiment. And if you need some help or have questions, let me know and we'll help you out.